The following podcast is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to persons living or allegedly dead is a complete coincidence. You'll pay no attention to any of it. Everything discussed is a lie. Even this disclaimer. You have been warned.
Hi, Jinx Productions. This is Jinx, just Jinx.
Jinx, it's me, Christopher Dickens, your co-host on Don't Shoot the Messenger, a podcast about conspiracies.
I know who you are, Chris.
Do you? Do you really, though? You haven't asked for our daily password yet.
What is the daily password?
Obelisk.
Identity confirmed. Now, why are you whispering and calling me from a different number?
I'm calling from a burner phone I bought from a guy in a park. I'm whispering because I'm being followed. Is he there yet? Did he show up?
Hang on, I'm almost there. Oh, Chris? There's a very large bald man in the studio. You think it's him in disguise?
Only one way to find out. Ask him.
Sir, are you lost? The studio's reserved.
Is this that pod show about conspiracies and stuff?
Yeah?
Oh, good. I'm in the right place then.
Who are you?
Well, the boss likes to call me dingbat, dimwit, dingus, a lot of D-words. But I prefer Melvin.
Melvin?
The Reptilian Commander sent me.
It's time for
Don't Shoot the Messenger.
The Reptilian Commander sent me. Was that menacing? The boss wanted me to sound all scary and stuff.
I'm well intimidated. Chris, did you hear who's here?
Melvin is his name?
Yeah, he says Melvin is the name he prefers. So, I guess the Reptilian Commander's coming?
Oh, yeah, he's on the roof right now. He likes to make a grand entrance, so he sent me in to check the place out first. That's one of the things I do for him.
They're on to you, Chris.
See, I told you I was being followed, Jinx.
Yeah, sometimes you're not as crazy as you seem.
Now, Melvin, why is he following me?
Well, he follows all sorts of people, but he's probably followed you 'cause you're a clone.
I'm a clone?
I told you.
I don't believe you. Why would you say such things?
Well, he signed the order, and I put it in the slot, and the quarry you was living in got filled up, and that's how stuff gets done. So you must be a clone, just like me.
I knew something was off about you this season, Chris.
This can't be true. I don't believe this. Oh, I have all my memories. My family knows who I am. There's no way.
That's 'cause you're a copy of the original, with a few changes here and there.
This explains so much. Remember when you couldn't remember your son's birthday?
I have no idea. I have no recollection of what you're talking about.
Exactly my point.
So Melvin, why did I get cloned?
Oh, you must have done something that the boss wasn't happy with.
Well, what could I do that he's not happy with me?
Well, I don't know for sure, but recently, he was listening to that show he was on, and he was like, I keep giving him all this stuff, and he's getting it wrong.
What do I get wrong? I get nothing wrong. I do my research. I follow through on everything.
Screwing up the message again, Chris.
I can't be shot. I'm just the messenger.
See, but when you get the messages wrong, apparently the Reptilian Commander is not liking the message that you're sending.
So, Melvin, where are you guys coming from?
The mothership, it's up in orbit in the sky.
Where, though? Where did the mothership come from?
The home planet of the reptilians.
Where is that located exactly?
Oh, that's technical information.
It's above your pay grade.
I'm just a clone. I don't even get paid.
So I think when the Reptilian Commander gets here, Chris, we got a few questions to ask him, like, what are you screwing up this time?
I don't know what I did.
We got to find out where you went wrong. This is confusing, Chris. I don't know what you did.
I have no idea what I did either. I'm very confused and trying to figure out and go through my notes on what I could have gotten wrong.
Maybe it was your janitor cousin again.
Possibly. Maybe that's the reason I got cloned.
Maybe they just decided to move up the schedule a little bit.
No, Melvin, you said he wants to make a grand entrance, but why is this taking so long?
That's a good question. I left him on the roof like 40 minutes ago.
Wow, that's a long time to get in here. You said he's looking to make a grand entrance. Is he planning on blowing a hole through the roof? What's his plan for getting? I mean, I don't think we have a roof access here.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
He didn't have you go check it for him ahead of time?
Well, I'm not always so good with details and stuff, but yeah, I probably should have checked on that before coming down here. He's gonna be mad.
You would think the Reptilian Commander would have at least the schematics of the building with all of his access to things. Maybe that's just a little too trivial for him.
Most of the time, the robots take care of everything. And if it ain't them, it's the clones.
Yeah, I haven't seen any robots around here. Are the robots stealth mode or what?
The robots is all on the mothership.
Okay.
You think that somebody would notice a 8-foot reptile walking around? How does he get around unnoticed?
Oh, he's got one of those doohickeys that he wears. It makes him all shimmery and stuff.
Shimmery and stuff. That's excellent word use there, Melvin.
Hey, thanks. I've been working on increasing my vocabulary.
Is it like a reflector mirror kind of thing, like the dinosaur in Jurassic World?
It's like a heat haze.
Like a mirage kind of thing?
That's the word. Mirage.
Okay. Interesting. Well, now I have to question every time you see a mirage, is it really a mirage or is it a reptile? So, but I wanted to ask, how big is this mothership and why aren't we seeing it?
It's pretty big. It's got one of them shimmery mirage things, too.
So how big is pretty big? Like, are we talking like big like the Titanic or big like the island of Manhattan?
Sure, it's probably the size of Manhattan.
And how many reptiles are up on it?
Just the boss.
Just the boss? He's got that big of a, for just him? And I assume you and the robots?
Well, a few hybrids show up here and there, but mostly it's just the boss, the robots, and the clones. Maybe a few abductees.
Sounds pretty lonely up there.
Yeah, it's pretty lonely most of the time.
So when is this invasion happening, Melvin? I need you to tell me.
I don't know technical details. I usually just push buttons and lift things.
You have to be listening in. You have to hear things.
Most of the stuff the boss talks about, I don't even understand.
What would be like the most surprising to us out of all the stuff you've overheard?
The most surprising for me lately was how fast Chris got cloned. Usually it takes as long as a baby does.
I still don't believe that. I don't believe that whatsoever. Melvin, I'm going to ask you a few questions about things I've heard. Have you ever heard the name Anunnaki thrown around up there?
Oh, sure. He was talking about them to one of them bigwigs back in the homeworld.
Do you know who he was talking to?
I didn't recognize him, so it was probably someone from the Assembly.
The Assembly? What is the Assembly, Melvin?
That's where the reptilians and all the other races all get together and yell at each other.
Oh, so like Congress?
More like the United Nations.
Okay. When you hear names like that, does this anger him?
What names?
Like Anunnaki or Greys or just different races available.
Oh yeah.
We know he doesn't like the Greys.
Yeah, he don't care for them too much. 'Cause they ain't under his, purview. They only listen to the High Council.
Does the Reptilian Commander have a short fuse, Melvin? Because last time I talked to him, it seemed like he does.
Pretty much, yeah. He's also throwing stuff at me when I mess things up.
All right. Well, this seems like it's going to be a very interesting talk with him if I have to deal with somebody who acts like a 4-year-old.
Well, you should be used to, dealing with 4-year-olds. Hopefully none of them hit you in the head with the bat at any time recently. That might have been why you were knocked unconscious that one time.
I don't believe that I'm a clone. There's no proof of this. I don't have like a serial number or something on me.
Do you have any proof that you're not a clone?
Yeah.
What's your proof?
My own brain. I think therefore I am. Haven't you heard that before?
They could have imported all of your thoughts, rebooted you.
I don't believe it.
And made you think that you're still thinking the same thoughts that you had before, but you're not thinking the same thoughts that you were thinking. You're thinking what they're telling you to think. You think?
You lost me there, Jinx. Now, Melvin, what is the ultimate plan here for the Reptilian Commander?
The boss is waiting for the invasion order to get approved by the High Council.
Why is it taking so long?
Well, the council always takes a long time to process paperwork. Plus, they're probably pretty busy fighting the Anunnaki over in the Andromeda Galaxy.
Now getting a little more titillating for me. I want to know more about this fight between the Anunnaki. Can you tell me anything else, Melvin?
I mean, how much are you allowed to divulge? I mean, we don't want to get you in trouble.
The boss don't tell me too much, so there ain't too much to tell.
You have to overhear things, though. I mean, if you're around and pushing buttons and stuff, you have to hear things, especially if items are being thrown at you.
All I know is that they've been fighting for a really long time, and now it's heating up.
I've got a question. Is there anybody the Reptilian Commander is afraid of? Any higher-up person that he has to watch out for?
The Reptilian Empress.
The Empress?
She's the boss's boss's boss. She controls the whole empire.
Wow, and she controls it all?
The whole thing.
How did she come into power?
She was born into it.
Born into it?
Reptilian royalty?
You got it.
Interesting. Finding out all sorts of stuff that we didn't know before.
This is very clashing with all my information that I've had passed through on very reliable sources, Melvin. You sure you're not bending the truth with me here?
I wouldn't know how to bend it.
Is there any way that you know of that we could find a way to see through the commander's disguise haze?
Well, it hasn't been functioning normally for a while now. Sometimes it just kind of flickers and turns itself off.
But is there any device that we can use to try and get through that?
You could probably splash him with some kind of liquid.
But then you would need to know he was there in the first place, right?
That's true.
I know Chris loves his tinfoil hats and tinfoil suits, but is there anything we can do to defeat his tinfoil hat per se?
Well, I suppose if you had an electromagnetic pulse, that would do the trick.
There you go, Chris.
Don't make fun of my tinfoil ensemble here, okay? It's fun and functionality.
It's got to be really comfortable in those desert locations you've been visiting lately.
Do not disclose my location, please.
There are lots of deserts in the world, Chris.
That's just narrowing it down for Melvin and the Reptilian Commander.
Well, I mean, it's not like you put it out in a blog every week. Uh-oh, somebody's here.
It's the boss. Sure was nice talking to you folks.
Thanks for taking some time with us, Melvin, and giving us a tip-off about him coming.
Sure thing.
Much appreciated.
So, I finally found you.
Creating a podcast like Don't Shoot the Messenger can be a lot of hard work, but Anchor helps make our job a little bit easier. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. So, if you've always wanted to start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast.
So, I finally found you. Hey, boss, come on in. I was keeping it warm for you. Get out, you dunderhead. I'll deal with you later. Okay, boss. I've been wandering this maze of hallways asking for directions like some kind of ordinary pumpkin, and it turns out you're recording in a closet.
Yeah, it's generally recording studios aren't too big and echoey.
I was going to make my grand entrance by dropping through a skylight with my cloak flapping in the wind behind me and land all Iron Man style. After I realized there wasn't one, I had to go through the front door. 3 times I've had to explain why I'm wearing an 8-foot cape.
So they could see your cape?
It's 8 feet long. Of course they could see it. What bothers me even more is that out of all the things they could have taken exception with, such as my enormous height, my dark cloak, the emblem on my chest, or my reflective face mask, they chose that every time.
So you took off your cloaking device to walk through the hallways?
It's not working very well.
Yeah, Melvin was alluding to that earlier. So have you been spotted a lot on the streets lately?
Well, no. Normally I'm in the mothership. What do you think I do all day? Loiter around in strip malls signing autographs?
Well, first of all, thank you for coming in and gracing us with your presence. I'm sorry that Chris couldn't be here in person, but I'm sure you understand why.
I wouldn't call it gracing.
Don't be rude to our guest here, Chris.
Greetings, Clonestifer.
Hello, Reptilian Commander.
How's your quarry doing?
You know. Luckily, I've been keeping you off my tail.
Are you referring to your tinfoil fashion line?
My tracksuit?
Yes, I'm sure it's all the rage among the rocks and the sagebrush.
You've upgraded to a tracksuit this time?
Yeah, I have to.
Much better than those shorts you had on last time. That was awkward.
I told you, Jinx, fun and functional. Now, Reptilian Commander, why have you come to chase me down?
I have a bone of contention with you over that last episode I was on.
So what is your bone
So
to pick?
what is your bone of contention? What did Chris say that set you off? What did he get wrong?
A never-ending parade of minor annoyances, really. When I mentioned that our moon base was like a truck stop, you immediately said it was a truck stop.
So English grammatical stuff is very important to the reptilians? Is that what you're saying? Or just to you personally?
Personally, me, but reptilians are high-strung as it is.
Well, see, when you said it's like a truck stop, it confirmed almost all of my reporting I've been doing. So how can you sit there and say that what I got was wrong?
Just because it's a refueling and supply station does not make it a truck stop. It makes it like a truck stop.
Semantics.
I don't like dealing with semantics.
You will not find souvenir refrigerator magnets or silver dollar pancakes on the moon.
That is your biggest issue with me is because I said truck stop and not like a truck stop?
For one, that episode I was on was plagued with technical difficulties. I could barely hear you at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, I remember when you called in, we were trying to check in with you and you weren't responding. We had trouble hearing you on that end too. So I'm glad we finally got the call to go through. I apologize for that. That's not one.
Why are you being so nice to him, Jinx?
Because I'm in the studio with him, Chris.
I don't care. He's been following me for months.
They've already cloned you. I'm still fine.
I don't believe I'm a clone.
As if I have the time or inclination to follow you around. The robo-drones do it for me.
You don't know where I am right now, so that's all that matters to me.
When I return to the mothership, there will be a record waiting for me of every move you've made.
And he already knows you're in a closet. But we're in a closet. There are lots of closets.
Now, Reptilian Commander, I was talking to your
Lackey?
You're too kind to that chatty Cathy.
I have a few questions. He divulged some information to me, and I want to clear up some of the issues here that I have with you.
Already betraying your fellow clone? How reptilian of you. Ask your questions.
What's going on with the Anunnaki and the Reptilians?
Oh, them. We're fighting a battle in the Andromeda Galaxy. They started it this time.
You guys sound like a bunch of children.
Well, we're immortal and we don't dress like baked potatoes.
Oh, is this the route we're going down, Reptilian Commanders? You're going to just start throwing names around?
Names? What names have I thrown?
Oh, a big potato.
I call it as I see it.
So it's like a turf war, or are they kind of invading your space?
Or is it like a playground fight where you're a bunch of little children trying to bully somebody?
So, you want a galactic history lesson, eh?
Yeah, I have some of my own research I've done, but I'd like to hear it straight from your large mouth.
The reptilian tongue.
Let's see. Long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, a bunch of jerks decided to invade the galaxy next door, conquering a little blue mud ball on the outer rim. There, they genetically enhanced the planet's dominant reptiles into a new slave race, and rule over them as gods. There was a rebellion, we took back the world's they'd seized, chased them back to Andromeda, and used their technology to form our own galactic empire. The end. Do I get my gold star now?
Not yet, because that was very lackluster to me. The sources I have that are very reliable to me have stated that you are the hostile ones and the Anunnaki are not, that you're the ones that have pushed the boundaries and tried to force them out, and you're looking for total universal domination, while the Anunnaki are trying to have peace.
Lies. They want revenge for what we did to the hybrid abominations they left behind on Earth, who repeated their mistakes by genetically engineering humanity to replace us. One of the most powerful of these was Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh? Who is Gilgamesh?
2/3 Anunnaki hybrid, 1/3 human. Incredibly strong. Obsessed with immortality, which we denied him.
So somebody we would consider like a demigod in Greek mythology?
Babylonian, actually.
Okay.
Interesting. Now, Reptilian Commander, I have a question. In a recent conversation with Chris, he implied that my daughter is actually sent to control me, keep me in check. Was that not what you told her, Chris? And now she thinks she's in charge of me. Thank you, Chris, for that. And she has it in her head that she's someday going to be in charge of the Reptilian. Have you guys ever had a human in charge?
We have had some humans and human hybrids rise very high in the ranks.
Interesting. I think she has it in her mind to take over the reptiles. I don't know if she means that by leading the reptiles or actually taking them over, but...
That is the perfect attitude to have. She would do very well on the Reptilian High Council. Lots of political maneuvering and backstabbing there, so it takes fortitude to rise to the top.
Her and I have discussed this already, Jinx, and she's going to start a revolution within the Reptilian elite.
If she chooses to bring victory to the Reptilian Empire instead of Chris's doomed plan of rebellion, I will put in a request immediately for her to get her own starship. Should only take a couple of decades, and she can choose her own custom paint job.
She will be excited to hear that. So I've got a question getting a little off topic, but kind of in the same line. Melvin was talking about there being an empress.
The Empress presides over the Reptilian High Council. We are a progressive species, if nothing else.
So is she like a big proponent of this war that's going on, or is she like kind of like just...
Oh, yes. She directs the war fleets herself.
So is there somebody in the Anunnaki side that she's got a beef with?
We've been at war with them for millennia, but hostilities have increased in the last few centuries.
Since you've indulged me on the Anunnaki, when is this invasion happening?
As soon as my invasion request form is processed and approved by the High Council.
Now, I know that last time we talked that there were issues with paperwork and stuff going through. Are you guys still having the filing system problems, or...
Bureaucracy is universal, and this war has only slowed things down even more.
I'm surprised you got the clone thing through on Chris so quickly.
Most of that is handled by the robots aboard the mothership.
I'm not a clone.
Embrace your feelings. You know it to be true. Besides, I gave the order to Melvin, so it must have happened.
You trust him to do your work for you?
It's not about trust. He's a clone, programmed to do as I say.
But you call him dimwit and dingbat and all these D-names, as he stated, so he obviously has some lack of mental capacity. So how do you know that he actually got it done and followed through?
That's a good question. He does make a lot of mistakes. Something you two share in common. Clones of a feather, eh? I'll look into it.
I was going to say, I mean, Melvin seems nice enough, but competent is not something that he exudes.
You're meaner to him than I am, and I throw things at him.
Well,
I'm just a good judge of character.
See, I am a conspiracy theorist, as you well know, Reptilian Commander, so I am here to question everything, and so therefore I do not believe that I am a clone just because you say so. You do not have proof because you said that you believe somebody else too, so anything you say, of course, I'm going to bring into question.
Says the man baking his brains in the desert while dressed in a tinfoil tracksuit.
You don't know where I'm at. Don't even act like you are trying to have me divulge my location to you.
I don't know of many closets in deserts, in Chris's defense.
Well, maybe he carved one into a cactus or something.
That'd be a pretty decent-sized cactus. I'd actually like to see that. That'd be pretty interesting.
Now, where is this mothership?
In orbit.
I know, but where is it over orbit of?
Currently, North America.
North America? Okay.
It changes.
That's what the word orbit means, so...
The Earth rotates, yes.
And now we get our science. All right, we got history and science. It's all educational today.
I have another question about the invasion. You say that there's paperwork and bureaucracy. Isn't this more of a monarchy? So wouldn't you be able to just command it and have it be?
I'm the clandestine regional overseer of Earth. I may be 15th in line to a duke on the High Council, but I don't control invasion fleets.
So you're like the general manager of Bennigan's.
I suppose that is an apt description for your homeworld.
Reptilian Commander, so you've come to Earth. This is, again, since we mentioned Bennigan's, is there a favorite food place of yours?
Mostly I just eat protein packs that Melvin fetches for me.
And children?
That's disgusting. I only said that to mess with Christopher.
So you don't eat humans? Because I believe that's that you would call a human a protein pack in your terms.
Well, I am the master of deception, misinformation, half-truths, and falsehoods. Everything I say is a lie.
And that's why I question you.
So if everything you say is a lie, how can you fault Chris for getting it wrong?
Seriously, if everything I say is a lie, how can you even believe me telling you that? Isn't that also a lie? Now watch Christopher's brain go all inception on him.
I know that he sits there and says he likes to lie, but I know that the Reptilian Commander does drop in truth, so we'd have to question everything he says.
It's part of the whole thing. A good liar is going to put a little bit of truth to it because that's what makes the lie believable. It's just trying to figure out a way around those lies and figure out dividing the truth from the fiction.
See, Jinxie catches on.
That's because she's part of your organization. I've never trusted her.
Did I say inception? I meant One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I'm just a messenger, just like you, Chris. Just like you. Just a messenger.
Like I just don't. You're being way too cordial with him. This is somebody that is claiming that he has uprooted me from my life and made me a clone. And last time told me that you have a spot in their monarchy system awaiting you when ready. And I'm getting probed.
The probe is nasal, if that makes any difference.
I'm just being the moderator here between the two factions.
Now, Reptilian Commander, what is the purpose of cloning?
Primarily, immortality.
For me or for you?
For us.
For us. You with these very, very vague and misleading answers. Who is us? Are you talking about you and I, or are you talking about the reptilian elite for themselves?
All races in the Assembly possess cloning technology. It's a perk of membership.
Commander, is there anything that we can do to test Chris to prove that he is a clone?
Yes.
What is one of the true signs we can look for to spot clones?
The slave clones tend to have memory corruption errors and mispronounce words like obelisk, psychokinesis, mirage, vocabulary, and the French name Jacques.
Has there ever been a record of any reptilians being cloned?
Oh, reptilians are cloned all the time.
I was going to say, are you sure you haven't been cloned already?
Probably hundreds of times. That's how we gain our immortality. When a body is worn out, you transfer your consciousness into a new one and use the old one as a mindless laborer.
So are you saying that Chris is now immortal because he's a clone?
Theoretically, it does require access to a cloning facility.
Ah, okay. See, Chris, it's not so bad. Even the Reptilian Commander's been cloned.
Quit trying to convince me, Jinx.
Embrace your destiny.
I'm not trying to convince you. I'm just trying to help you be okay with your fate.
Help me see the truth?
No, to help you be okay with what has already befallen you. You can't change what's already happened. It's not all bad, Chris. See?
I'm not trusting his answers here, Jinx, and I don't know why you are.
I'm just going along with it, Chris, because it's fun.
And that's how you know she's part of the reptilian conspiracy.
So are you sporting a baseball cap tinfoil hat these days?
I'm not going to disclose anything. I don't know why you're trying to give my information out to the Reptilian Commander, Jinx.
Chris, you know you can trust me. I'm just wondering, I haven't seen you in a while. And
for good reason that you haven't seen me in a while. I felt like you couldn't be as trusted.
The trust level between us, Chris, I think we need to work on this. Maybe we should go to one of those trust camps together.
I'm not going anywhere with you alone unless it's in public.
Well, it'll be public. There will be other people there.
Yeah, but in a secluded location, no, I'm okay.
I'm telling you, Chris, we need to do this trust workshop.
I can't trust you enough to go to a trust workshop.
Got to tear down this wall. I'll find one at a rock quarry so you'll feel more comfortable and at home.
They found my rock quarry, remember? They already found it and filled it. Thank you for that again, Reptilian Commander.
You are most welcome.
Yeah, it's called sarcasm.
I've never heard that word before. What did you call it? Sarcasm.
I just still don't understand why you have such a grudge with me over trivial little matters. There must have been something I've done to anger you in some way, Reptilian Commander, that you have to constantly make my life harder.
Maybe it's because you've been getting too close to the truth.
I'm getting too close, so you're trying to silence me?
No, it's called sarcasm.
Oh.
Maybe it's because you remind me every day the invasion orders haven't come through, and I still have to be here overseeing this backwater planet.
Oh, so you're a failure is what you're getting at.
Oh, for that I'm going to clone you again, but in reverse.
How do you clone somebody in reverse?
From the inside out.
Oh,
I knew what he meant, Jinx. Or I picked up on that he wanted to make me a deformity, I guess you'd say. But you see, once again, I don't believe you because you do not do anything yourself. You have to trust the dimwits and the numbskulls around you.
We've been doing it for thousands of your years. It seems to be working out pretty good.
Obviously not against me.
That's what we want you to think.
And that's what I want you to think.
And that's what I want you to think, I think.
Acting like a child again there with these trivial arguments.
I told you that you've been thinking that you're right and thinking that you're not a clone, but really you're just thinking as a clone would think when he's thinking that he's not a clone, but he's actually a clone and thinking like a clone.
See, Jinx, that sounded like something a Reptilian Commander would say. Why would you say something like that?
Turning on your cohort now, Christopher. How far you've fallen.
Oh, boy, you two. All right. So, see, this is why I have to be the mediator between the two of you, Chris. This is why I keep on good terms.
Good terms, that's what we'll call it.
See, everyone, this is what happens when you delve too deep into conspiracy theories. Stop now while you're still ahead, or you'll end up like Chris.
Searching for the truth, not wanting to be lied to, wanting to know why our existence is here and why everything around us happens.
Whole lot of thinking and a whole little truth.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, you are very perceptive, Jinx.
That's why I'm the brains of this operation.
I think she's being fed information.
Or perhaps she's always been one of us. Or maybe we're just trying to divide and conquer.
I think you need to keep searching for some answers here, Chris.
I'm on a constant search for answers. I need to find a home first, though. Now, Reptilian Commander.
Yes?
You're stuck in a dead-end job.
That is probably the most perceptive thing you have ever said.
What is your end game?
Retirement.
Where would you want to retire to?
Probably Europa. They have nice slime caves.
Nice slime. Is that where my cloned uncle's nephew's cousin is?
That's where your original body is.
Okay, I still don't believe you.
What do you do with the bodies of the ones you've cloned?
After the brain transference to the new body, we send the mindless husks to toil in the slime caves, or wherever else in the galaxy we need laborers.
I think I remember that from the last one.
I've got a couple more questions before I have to finish this, because I feel like this is just a very go-around conversation where I have not learned anything more since we started. Now, Reptilian Commander, I've recently uncovered connections of the Knights of Templar to the Reptilian elite. Can you confirm or deny this?
Yes.
Yes, you can confirm or deny, or yes, they are connected to you.
That is correct.
Oh, why won't you divulge here with me, sir?
I have answered your question.
Hold on, Chris. This might be a stall tactic to keep you in the same location for long enough for him to track you down.
And perhaps Jinx just stalled you even longer by telling you that.
He's already said that he's the master of lies, so could you trust either way?
I mean, I'm not going to trust the general manager of Bennigan's as a master of lies. Otherwise, I think he'd be up a little bit higher than just a commander.
That's one sponsor you're not going to get.
Yes. Are we really worried about getting Bennigan's as a sponsor?
You've burned that bridge.
Okay, so moving on. So, do you get to travel to the other planets often?
I used to, but not since 47.
So do you get to vacation to anywhere else, or you just have to stay here at Earth and vacation here?
I'm not allowed to leave the solar system until the invasion orders come through.
So no vacation time for you?
This is it. Right here, right now.
You're spending your vacation tracking me down.
Yes.
Is that a personal vendetta then, going after Chris?
No, he's just a minor annoyance.
Oh, just an annoyance. I mean, Melvin said that you got quite angry at facts, I was saying, and saying that I got the facts wrong. You don't sound too angry right now. You sound like a very calm and relaxed state.
Jinx has a calming effect that counters your annoying irksomeness.
I've been told this. I think we've even had listeners comment on that.
See, my annoyance is actually just investigation. I'm just here to interrogate you. You believe you're here to find me. I have probably turned the tables on you now, and I'm interrogating you, I think.
Yes, the dollar store detective defeats the conqueror of Earth.
You haven't conquered Earth yet. That order hasn't gone through.
We're just waiting for the final approval.
Exactly, so you can't call yourself the conqueror of Earth yet, sir.
It's mostly over and done with.
Yeah, that's like me saying I mostly have a master's degree.
Semantics again here.
He wanted to throw semantics at me like a truck stop. Well, I'm like the conqueror of Earth. You're not the conqueror of Earth yet.
So I guess if they already cloned you, Chris, what's the worst that can happen to you at this point?
There's no proof to that. I'm not going to trust him saying that he sent some incompetent to go clone me to have it be done. Now, my final question for you, Reptilian Commander. What do you know of the planet Nibiru?
It's a planet.
Yes, what do you know of it?
I've heard of it.
That's it? That's all you're going to give me is you've heard of it?
It's nearby, astronomically speaking.
Okay. Do you have anything to do with it? Does the reptilians have anything to do with it?
Yes.
Are we talking a stone's throw, a hop, skip, and a jump, or over the hill and through the woods?
Probably 500 AUs from the sun, perhaps.
Do you know what an AU is, Chris?
Yes.
Astronomical unit.
Ah.
When it comes by Earth, its gravitational pull screws up the lunar patterns for the tide and creates floods. There's been well-documented things on every time it comes around. There's some sort of natural disaster that causes mass destruction. Best example would be the Great Flood from the Bible with Noah and his ark. I don't know why you would keep a planet coming around and around and around to cause such destruction.
Terraforming. That's what global warming is for, too.
Okay.
It's part of the reptilians' plan for reforming.
We like it hot.
But if you're flooding the Earth, then there's not going to be a lot of land for you guys to be on.
Well, we don't need much, just some nice beachfront property to lay around on.
What race do you think we should be most afraid of outside of the reptilians?
The insectoids are likely to return someday. They always do. The Anunnaki, however, already have their sights set on reacquiring Earth, and they are quite formidable, perhaps even terrifyingly powerful.
I don't believe you on that. I think that they don't want the reptilians here anymore. That's why we have seen multiple scriptures about them throughout the history of time.
Of course, I would advise embracing the devil you think you know, versus the one you definitely don't. But I'm quite certain Inanna Ishtar would love for you to join her, Christopher.
Yes, because I would rise high in their ranks. Don't lie to me.
I'm sure you would, as her concubine.
Oh, on that note, Reptilian Commander, I think I'm cutting this interview short.
We got to find a new safe place, Chris.
It's time for me to return to the mothership anyway. I'd like to play some more Subnautica.
Subnautica? All right, well.
Google it.
I would say thank you, Reptilian Commander, but I don't have anything to thank you for.
Yeah, and I look forward to your next blog on our website, Chris. Anyways, thank you, Reptilian Commander, for coming in, and
always a pleasure, Jinxie.
And Chris, I'll talk to you later.
Yes, we'll see about that. Reptilian Commander, good day.
Good day to you, Cloney McClollerton.
Snake.
Don't Shoot the Messenger is part of the Just Don't Network. Stay up to date on all of our shows at thejustdon'tnetwork.com. Incoming transmission. The following audio was recorded by agents of Conspire, the Central Office for News, Safety, and Public Information on the Reptilian Elite. It is marked for your ears only.
My plan worked perfectly. Gee, boss, you shouldn't have done that to them nice people. Silence, you simpleton. Driving a wedge between Mully and Skulder will only make them stronger. And that was my plan all along.
Stay tuned for future transmissions. End of line.